I had quit cave diving years ago after a near-death experience in the collapsing tunnels of cathedral caverns. I swore I would never return to those dark, claustrophobic places again. But then I found the hole. It appeared on a late afternoon while I was wandering around the land I had recently purchased. Amidst the dense underbrush, I noticed a sunken patch of earth, which I initially thought was natural erosion. But as I approached, I saw a limestone ridge exposed as if there had once been an entrance. I knelt down, brushing away loose dirt and debris. A small opening appeared, just big enough to fit a hand through. Cold, stagnant air drifted from within. I switched on my flashlight and aimed it inside, but the angle was too tight to see anything. My heart pounded. I had never seen this cave on any map. I called the real estate office, but they had no information about it either. It seemed the entrance had collapsed so long ago that no one had noticed. If that were the case, the interior might still be untouched. I knew there was only one person who could help me: Ryan. Ryan arrived that evening, his eyes shining with excitement like a child's. "You're sure this isn't on the map?" he asked, running his fingers over the weathered limestone. I nodded. Ryan grinned. "Then we've got a virgin cave." We wasted no time. Digging through the rubble was slow work. The limestone had been compacted over centuries. By the time the sun dipped below the tree line, we had widened the hole just enough for a person to squeeze through. Ryan reached toward the opening and shivered. "Cold as hell," he muttered. I stared into the abyss, torn between fear and exhilaration. But then I nodded. "Let's do it." We crawled inside. The cave expanded into a massive chamber with a high ceiling adorned with glistening stalactites. Beneath us, a crystal-clear pool reflected our flashlight beams. But something felt wrong. We found bones. At first, they were small, mixed into the dirt, an empty jawbone, a few tiny vertebrae. Then we found something larger. Ryan picked up a bone and turned it in his hand. "What do you think this is?" I swallowed hard. "Maybe an animal got trapped down here." We fell silent, staring at the scattered remains. Then we saw the drawings. Etched into the stone walls were ancient carvings, early humans, hunting, fighting. But the images changed. The small figures began to run. Behind them was something large, distorted, impossible to define. In the final carving, the creature stood at the cave's entrance, trapping a lone figure inside. A chill ran down my spine. Ryan stared at the images for a long moment before speaking, his usual bravado gone. "What do you think this means?" I didn't answer. And then we heard the noise. It started softly, a faint tapping on stone. Ryan swung his flashlight toward the sound, and I could have sworn I saw something shift. Ryan chuckled nervously. "Still jumpy, huh?" I stiffened. "If there's nothing down here, then what brought these bones in?" We pressed forward, but the air grew heavier. The cave seemed to close in around us. Then our flashlights flickered, and then it rushed us. I barely caught a glimpse. Pale, tight, molting skin that never fully regenerated. It lunged at Ryan, slamming him into the rock wall. Ryan screamed. I staggered backward, my heartbeat hammering in my ears. He clutched his arm, blood seeping through his torn sleeve. The creature vanished into the tunnels as quickly as it had appeared, leaving only its eerie, wheezing breath echoing in the darkness. We ran. The exit was in sight. Relief nearly made my knees give out. But then Ryan stopped. My hand. I can't move my fingers. My stomach turned to ice. His wound. It was worse than we thought. The adrenaline had masked the damage, but now it was spreading. Ryan struggled to crawl through the narrow passage, but he was too slow. Then I heard it, right behind us. A breath. Cold. Wet. "Move!" I screamed, clawing my way forward. I shoved myself ahead, ignoring the sharp rocks scraping against my skin. Ryan let out a strangled cry. Then silence. No more labored breathing. No more scuffling on stone. I turned back. Ryan was gone. I flung myself out of the tunnel, landing hard on the dirt. Fresh air burned my lungs. I spun around, shining my flashlight back inside. Ryan, come on! Nothing. Then I heard it. A sickening, wet crunch, the sound of flesh tearing, bones splintering. Beneath me, the ground trembled. The rocks we had cleared before suddenly shifted, collapsing back into place, as if being pulled by some unseen force. Within seconds, the entrance was gone. I dropped to my knees, digging frantically, my fingers scraping against the stone. But no matter how much I pulled, pushed, or clawed, I couldn't make a dent. At some point, I reached for my phone with trembling hands. I stared at the emergency dial screen, my mind blank, my throat so tight I could barely speak.
Thank you.